everyone, welcome back to Make the Music, and today I'm going to do a breakdown of Weezer's Back to the Shack. Who doesn't love some Weezer, right? And this is a fun tune, a little raw, a little different than what we do on the channel here. You can get the stems to this project by going to the description down below and clicking the free link, and I'll send you the stems if you want to go through them. But I'm going to break down how I got this sound. You just heard the playthrough there. And yeah, let's have some fun with this one. Like and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Anyways, let's get into this one. So this is my session for Weezer's Back to the Shack, and not as many tracks as some other ones, but there's actually more parts than I realized, and I wanted to get them all correct here. Let's go to the mixer. Let's take a look at the master bus to see what I did. Virtual mix rack. I am using the G edition here because I think Tom Lord Algae mixed this record. I think he uses a 4K G SSL console, so I want to make sure that was correct. Added a decent bit of drive, some shimmer and thickness with the virtual mix rack. Some EQs, adding some low mids. This is a thick sounding record. Cutting out some like high highs there. I had a multi-band just to tame some of these really aggressive cymbals I had going on. SSL comp, that's not surprising, to add some gain reduction there. I'll play this here for you. Okay, so that's doing close to 4 dB of gain reduction, mostly on those snare hits, kind of taming them down. And then a limiter, of course, and Ozone 10 for the EQ discrepancy, just to kind of finish it off and make it sound like the final track. So that's what I got going on the master. Let's get into the drums. This was by far the hardest part of this song, was getting this drum sound. It's very unique, very garagey, kind of classic Weezer sounding, yet it was more of a modern record. I'm using Superior Drummer 3. I'm using the Indie Rock Room, using the Tama Artwood Maple, and the Pearl Masterworks kit. I think everything else was stock, except I added some toms. I need some additional toms there. Looks like I'm going with hi-hat 3 on that kit there. So drums sound like this. Not going for like a crazy stadium sound on this. It's much more raw, in your face. Tom Lord Algae did an amazing job mixing this record. Virtual mix rack, I am adding some, well, actually a lot of stuff. So I'm adding drive. I wanted to give these drums some punch. They sound a little too clean. Like if I took these off, just adding some aggressiveness, some vibrato to this drum set. Adding some top, taking out some low mids. And then the virtual mix rack, especially this like bomber, is very aggressive. Adds a lot of gain. And the compressor, so it's doing a lot of compression, but it's in parallel. So the mix knob's very low down there. So that's the drum bus compression, processing. The kick, taking out some high highs. This is not a metal kick, okay? So I didn't need like that super high attack. I'm using a transient shaper to get a little more like attack, the beater hitting the kick drum. Virtual mix rack, adding some top and some low mids, but then I'm taking some high tops out with that there. There's a kick room sample going on there, and then I had a snare sound, and the snare, I'm using the transient shaper, again some attack, getting rid of some sustain. See, that's like super boring. Before the process, and that snare was not cutting it. So using the transient shaper, some distortion, almost like a clipper. I'm kind of using it like that to kind of bring everything up, bring the whole drum sound, kind of level it out a little bit. Virtual mix rack, using the Neve to add some top. The 401 compressor. That's aggressive, but look, the mix knob's down at 20%. Adding some shimmer and thickness. Some final EQ, adding some top there with this one, and then taking out some lows. So that's the snare sound there. There's basically no toms on this song. The overheads and hats, man, that took a while to get this dialed in. Had to get a lot of harshness out of them, but still make them bright and aggressive, and that was kind of the struggle with this one. They're just very bright on this Superior drum sound. So I got a multi-band, just killing those harsh frequencies. EQ, like, look at how crazy this is. I wanted the high sizzle of the hat, but I didn't want like that like 4K sound. Then for the overheads, similar. Filtering out a lot of lows, filtering out some of the high highs, notching. It just got immediately unbearable when I left some of that in there. Then this is the comp track that comes with Superior Drummer. a similar approach. Then I had a parallel comp track that I was just doing with the kick and snare. That's doing a lot. It's doing some parallel comp, adding a little highs, some thickness. Like, if you're not using parallel compression on your drums, look into it, because if I mute it, it just gives you that consistency of that kick and snare without like giving you all the harshness of those cymbals, just like tearing you apart. So that's what I did there. Then I have these extra crashes. This is just a sample on downbeats. I think I did it on the intro too, just to give those parts some pop. And I took out some high highs there. Didn't want those to get too aggressive. This is not a super bright record. Or like on the beginning of the chorus, I think I did that.
Drums take me back to the shack.
I just wanted to feel like that chorus was hitting hard, so I added that there. Now we got that super sick tom hit right before the chorus comes in. This is what I did to process that. That's a different kit from Superior Drummer. I want to say it was an Easy Drummer 3 kit maybe, or something like that. I'm trying to remember. No, it was the Rock Solid kit is what I used, and I just took some toms using the mix hub. This is the tom left crystalline algae setting. Got rid of like some low thuddiness, and then I used a limiter because I didn't want these to get out of control. Like if you mess up your toms on accident when you're mixing, and then you get to the mastering, they're just like poof, and they just blow everything up. So you gotta be careful with that. Like that's just a little too boomy, and then it sounds thunderous there. Love that. Right before the chorus comes in.
Take me back to
Sweet. So it sounds even better on the original. Couldn't quite get it, but got pretty close. Now the bass, I have 3 different channels going on. The parts are pretty simple, but it needs to sound thundery. You need to have that low mids. So I use an amp track, Amplitude 5. I've been using that a lot lately. I like the bass. They have a lot of great bass options. And I went with the orange bass. It sounded great. Nice and dark, but a lot of low mids. Condenser and SM57 with the orange cab. No additional processing, just worked. DI, I used my low trick with the DI. Boosted the crap out of the... I love this lift series with that. Gets rid of all the highs, and then a limiter. Doesn't look like the limiter's even doing that much in this case, because it's kind of on the master of the bass. Then I have a fuzz track. It sounds like Weezer's been known. They have some fuzzy guitar sounds, bass sounds. So I have this fuzz track here. Oh, that is just disgusting, but in the best way with the bass sound. EQ, you don't need this high highs. You don't need the low lows. Just want like a mid-range growl to get it to connect with the guitars in a nice way. This looks like, oh, I bypassed the amp. It's a distortion pedal and a fuzz pedal. Yeah, real crazy, but mixed in with the bass sound. Right, you can have fun. You can explore sounds. You can really get creative. Just don't go overboard with it. Like if I made this fuzz channel like 10 dB too louder, it would ruin the track completely. It's all about subtlety. Still sounds like a bass guitar, but it's got, you know, some character now. It's not just a DI. Like here's the DI. Like that's nice, but we messed with that and we made it sound awesome. So on the bass guitar virtual mix rack, I used the Pultec, it looks like this time, adding some like low mids, 1073, adding some bigness, and then the 1176 blue channel. It's doing quite a bit of gain reduction. I didn't have mix up all the way though. Little corrective EQ, just adding some more low mids back in. Mix hub. Looks like some EQ moves were done. And then the black channel bass. This is my favorite preset for bass guitar. It sounds incredible. I didn't feel like I needed a limiter this time. This is not like hard rock or metal where the bass needs to sit. Like this was a little more garagey sounding. It doesn't need to have like the sonic character of the most crazily best produced record of all time. So the drums and bass together sound like this. Sounds awesome to me. I'm loving that. Now let's get to the guitars, which are cool in of itself. For all the guitars, rhythm and lead, I use the same preset. I used my Fender Squier. I used the neck pickup though for the leads, and then the bridge for the rhythms. Because you don't want the rhythms on the bridge channel. But the amp I used was Amplitude 5 this time. Once again, I used the Triple Crown Mesa. I know Weezer's been known to use that. I didn't match the tone exactly. The tone is super cool. I want to maybe do like a bias tone match or something like that, a video like that for it. But I used a gate. I used the distortion pedal. I ended up using, this looks like the 4x12 1960. This is like from the Slash expansion from Amplitude 5 and SM57. I messed with the position a little bit. I thought it sounded cool enough. I have 4 guitars during the intro and chorus and 2 during the verse parts. Notice I do automate the guitars up during the verse part, but there's something different between 2 loud guitars and 4 guitars producing the same volume. There's actually a difference there. One will actually sound like this will sound mushier, but at a different volume. They just give a different character. One's not necessarily better than the other. They give a different character. It sounds garagey. It sounds kind of sloppier, but like in a good way. So in a way that I really enjoy. So that's all the guitars, the leads. Oh, we got to get to the EQ first though on the guitars. Virtual mix rack, pretty standard. I added a lot of like 1K. It need to sound thicker in the low mids, and like it need to sound more annoying. Like it need to sound like it wasn't mic'd well. I don't know how to describe it. It's cool. And then a lot of EQ moves here, trying to get it to sound more annoying. Couldn't quite do it. I think that's what I like about real amps. I think real amp would have worked better because you just get these crazy frequencies. Little compression. You can see that's not a lot. And tilt, it was too bright, so I need to darken a little bit to fit in the track. So that's the guitars, lead guitars. Same settings, it looks like. I didn't go as aggressive with the EQ, but add some upper mids. They're a little too dark with my neck pickup. Maybe some regrets there, but it still worked. Compressor, and a little ambience on them. Just to add some space to them. So you got like that lead part. You got like the bends, and then you got the theme. That's like so Weezery sounding. And then the other two are just like doing some feedback. Super cool there. Let's get to vocals. This is not too insane. For the lead verse, so on the vocals, I have all the vocals bus to one vocal bus, and then the leads are bus to a separate lead. And then I have a verse. The verse lead sounds like this.
Sorry guys, I didn't realize that I needed you so much.
So on that, little stock EQ, getting rid of some low mids, nothing crazy. A limiter.
Sorry guys.
I did track through some EQ and compression just a little bit, just to get the vocal sound there. Just like a 1176 and just a little top boost. I'm using the meta tune, not for tune or for a bit of tuning, but mostly for like, I was trying to recreate the vitalizer, because there's a video Tom Lord Algae going over the vitalizer, but Back to the Shack, I couldn't quite get it, but it sounds cool nonetheless.
Sorry guys,
maybe I need a vitalizer plugin. I think maybe so. Like I add some chorus to try and do it, but it makes the vocal more interesting.
Sorry guys, I didn't realize.
Like that's super mono.
Sorry guys, I didn't realize. Sucks. I ended up with nobody, and I still
think it makes the vocal sound cooler in context.
Sucks. I ended up with nobody, and I started feeling dumb.
The lead vocals also have some additional processing. So okay, I had a gate, little EQ boost, adding some highs, some shimmer and thickness, getting rid of like some harsh mids that were cropping up, unfortunately. CLA 76.
Dumb. Maybe I should play the lead.
You can see it's not even compressing some parts of the verse because it's kind of quieter.
Dumb. Maybe I should play the lead.
You can see because I tracked through compression, this vocal is not like let me open this up for you. It's not ultra dynamic. It's dynamic, but it's not crazy dynamic. So that's the verse part. The main vocal just had the similar settings. Meta tune. This is what I always use to tune. And then CLA Epic just to add like some additional ambience to it. So if I solo the chorus vocal.
Back to the shack, back to the strap with the lightning straps, kicking the door, more hardcore, rocking out.
Right, because that's going to this lead vocal bus, which is going to a complete vocal bus here, which is all doing a similar thing, some additional EQ carving. This frequency was pissing me off. This 1.5 to like 6K was really harsh. So I used the multiband. Let me solo the vocals.
Back to the shack.
If your vocals are sounding harsh, not just bright, but they're harsh in that mid-range, use multiband.
back to the shack, back to the
Just
strap.
smooths it out. I know Sooth's a good plugin for that. That's kind of expensive. De-esser and then additional limiter just to bring everything full circle.
Back to the shack, back to
I like
the
having
strap.
some form of a compressor or limiter on my total vocal bus just to keep everything glued. Make sure there's not like a double or something crazy going out wide that I miss. So it's kind of a safeguard, right? Backups have similar processing. All these plugins are just Metatune plugins, okay, for tuning. Same thing, virtual mix rack. So, and then there's just some additional reverb on the backups.
Back to the shack, back to the
In terms of arrangement, it's just a lot of doubles, some up the center. I've got some low octaves and a high octave.
back to the shack.
Pretty self-explanatory. And some waves harmonies.
The radio, turn off those stupid singing shows.
They sound really dumb by themselves, but in context,
The radio, turn off those stupid singing shows.
it's perfect. And so all the vocals together.
The radio, turn off those stupid singing shows. Where we need to go, back to the shack.
It's perfect. It just kind of lifts that second part of the chorus. I can tell the harmonies coming in the main track.
The radio, turn off those stupid singing shows. I know where we need to go, back to the shack.
I don't know. I had a ton of fun with that one. If you like that one, guys, like and subscribe to the channel. You can get the stems, like I said, for free in the description down below if you want to check those out. I'm going to do a full playthrough of the song. Like and subscribe to the channel. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.
Sorry guys, I didn't realize that I needed you so much. I thought I'd get a new audience, but forgot that disco sucks. I ended up with nobody and I started feeling dumb. Maybe I should play the lead guitar and Pat should play the drums. Take me back to the shack, back to the strap with the lightning strap. Kicking the door, more hardcore, rocking out like it's 94. Let's turn